So this is a paper I co-authored with my advisors, Maxine Cohen and Saiba Ray. And as you see, we are exploring incentivizing healthy food in retail stores. So before I start talking about the paper itself, let me try to motivate you as to why eating healthy is important or why we should incentivize consumers to eat healthier food. I'm pretty sure I have put a lot of efforts into motivating you why this research is important. Uh, every time any of us actually go to a doctor, the first thing they ask you to do is eat healthier, right? Irrespective of what the diseases, heart diseases, diabetics, uh, any issue with your health, the first thing is eat healthy. But for me specifically, when I go to a store and I decide to eat healthy or buy something healthy, and I go shop, I see so many offers on unhealthy products like chips, buy one, get one free, or like when I'm even on the checkout lane, there's so many sweets, like so much sugar, right? And all of that is unhealthy. So we know that the environment in which we shop plays a very critical role in how we make choices. And what studies have shown is if you try to incentivize fruits and vegetables, people actually eat healthier food. So we wanted to see if retailers can do something in the stores to make consumers eat healthier food. So what kind of incentives can be used? Some of the common interventions that we have observed in literature are special deals for healthy options, like price discounts or everyday low prices, bundles where it's like buy multiple items for a reduced price, and some sort of add-on bundling. I know that this is not a healthy option, but I couldn't really find any example of add-on bundling. But essentially, that is the focus of this for this experiment and the paper, where we are saying that in this particular example, it is if you buy a pork roast belly, you can add on a mug of beer for one Malaysian currency. So that is add-on bundling. And some other kinds of incentives are descriptive nutritional labeling and visibility enhancement of healthy products in stores, increasing healthy food assortment in the stores, and finally, healthy eating calls, something like here. There's nothing much. You're just saying that it's a smart selection to buy milk, which is healthy. So what we're trying to do is examining if retailers can use one of these different incentives to form a habit in consumers to eat healthy. And also for retailers, the most important question or the most important aspect is it profitable to do so? So the first thing you do when you decide to do an experiment like this is to figure out what's healthy, what's unhealthy. It's not as straightforward as you can say, okay, if it is fresh fruits and vegetables, it's definitely healthy. If it is chocolates, it's unhealthy. But literature has different metrics which we use to define if the food is healthy or unhealthy. So all of this comes from the food and nutrition literature. We use something called Food Standard Association, where it's a metric computed using the number of calories, the amount of carbohydrates, fats, sugars, etc. in a specific food item, and they give a score. And if that score is less than 4, then it's considered healthy. And the second metric we use is calorie per nutrient. A lower CFN score is considered healthy. And the third metric we used is ratio of recommended to restricted, and a higher RRR is considered healthy. So what we did is we took all the food items in a convenience store. We actually recorded the data for all the nutrition metrics, and computed the score and categorized food into healthy, unhealthy, and an ambiguous zone. For this experiment, we strictly look only at the products which were clearly categorized as healthy by all these 3 metrics. Just an example for you to understand. These are bakery goods, and this is a small healthy snack box which has an assortment of vegetables. And this is what you probably would see on the nutrition label for these 2 products. And when you compute the the three metrics I just discussed about, we can clearly categorize the bakery items as unhealthy and the snack box here as healthy. So if you go to a store, right, and you see these items in the store, what do you think is the average demand for these products? Like what percentage of people would probably buy the bakery goods and what percentage buy the healthy? Just a rough guess.
So 70% will buy
unhealthy. Okay. So we found that about 87% of all the transactions in the store were unhealthy. And about 20% of these transactions were the bakery goods. And that's a huge amount of sales from unhealthy. Guess the healthy. Just a random number. It's actually less than 1%. So the overall healthy transactions in the store was so low that we were very surprised. And it's not a nice setting for us to be in because the world is evolving. All of us want to eat healthier, but I don't think the stores are doing enough for us to do that. So we wanted to go ahead and study in detail why that was happening. Yes? It was in downtown Montreal. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Transaction. Is it all only the food transaction or all transaction like that?
So we actually removed any alcoholic, any cigarettes or any other non-food items, and we just kept like for away from consumers. So all beverages, any kind of confectionaries, everything else is included. So the most natural question we had was why were the bakery goods selling so high? So one possible reason is we all like something sweet, something unhealthy. And the second reason is there was a promotion running in the store where if you buy a coffee, you can add a bakery good for $1. And that's actually a very nice promotion for you because an assortment like that is a good breakfast option for anyone. Because if you're willing to buy coffee for like, let's say $3, for $4, you're getting a wholesome breakfast. So what we observed is like 75% of pastry purchases were coming from this particular bundle itself. So that means this is motivating consumers to eat more unhealthy, even if they probably didn't want. We don't know if they wanted to or not, but and the average coffee price is about $1.85. So overall basket purchase goes up to like $2.85, which is pretty interesting. And the overall discount the consumers were getting was like $1.61, which is a good discount when you're spending like about $3. So moving on to what exactly or how exactly we are contributing to literature is we contribute to the healthy nudges literature. That most of the research in this area is done by food and nutrition, public health. So we contribute towards this literature by telling them that there is a way to incentivize, and there's also a possibility to come up with some sort of public policy or something that will help retailers towards more healthier incentives in stores. The second is add-on bundling. So we look at how add-on bundling can be used to change consumer behavior. And finally, there is a lot of literature on how to conduct field experiments in retail settings and what is the impact. And it's very beneficial to actually do a field experiment because you can study consumer behavior firsthand without any hypothesis. I mean, we do have a hypothesis, sorry, without any assumptions. Especially when you conduct a survey, you have a very small set of people who respond to your surveys. So there is a lot of difference in the insights you obtain from surveys versus when you actually do an experiment in a store and get some insights from it. So for the rest of the talk, I will introduce you to the experiment design. I'll discuss about the results, and we'll talk a little bit about the future prospects of this paper. So the main objective for this experiment was to study consumer behavior. when we introduce different kinds of add-on bundling and see how they change their purchase behavior. The location of the experiment store is in downtown Montreal. So the current bundle, which was being offered in the store, is when you buy coffee, you can add a pastry for $1. Let's call this the unhealthy bundle. We introduced two different alternate bundles. So first one is when you buy coffee, you can add a healthy snack for the same $1, and we'll call that the healthy bundle. And the second alternative we introduced is a choice bundle. So you buy coffee and you can choose either a healthy snack or an unhealthy snack for the same $1. So the choice is up to the consumer. We are not forcing you to buy unhealthy or healthy. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. We run each of these bundles in the store for a period of 3 weeks, and we record the POS transactions, your point of sale transactions. So in the previous, in the experiment design, you probably are wondering why they're using coffee as an anchor product, because they are trying to pull in consumers who are interested in coffee and making them buy additional items. So why is that? The reason is coffee is has a high profit margin. It's about 80% profit margin, and it has high product demand. So in the weeks before the experiment, about 40% of the sales were coming from coffee in this particular store. So we were able to actually get a significant amount of data by using coffee as the anchor product. And also, since it's a high profit margin product, it helps in balancing out any losses incurred due to discounts given on the add-on product itself.
What is the healthy product?
The healthy product is in the next slide. So the add-on items we're using for the unhealthy snack are the bakery goods, and the add-on item for the healthy snack is a vegetable box or a fruit box or a protein box. So it's an assortment of different items. So the intervention itself. So when people walked into the store, the first, they were actually introduced to the promotion at the entrance of the store. For the healthy bundle, this is the promotion they would see. And for the choice bundle, this is the promotion they would see. Essentially, there's a pastry and you're telling that you can choose pastry or healthy in the promotion itself. Any questions?
And at what time, here it's like most of the people will be having coffee before lunch, right? So isn't it that people will be just saving something for lunch?
Probably, but we actually didn't see a lot of correlation between the time of the day and the behavior.
But I mean, the coffee, people would be there would be more sale of coffee before lunch or around.
Yeah. So definitely the amount of coffee purchases was higher, around breakfast time, before, after lunch, and I think there's something sometime in the evening as well. Yes.
Is there a correlation between the price you pay and the amount of calories that you can have?
That's interesting. We actually didn't do that analysis, but that's actually interesting to probably see.
In the economic context, would you more interested to buy 400 calories from fast foods than the out? I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's actually an interesting thought, but we didn't do that analysis. Maybe I can work on it and see if there is an interesting insight from that. Thank you.
Is there some literature on why if I want to have coffee, I want a croissant. I mean, I will never eat a banana even if somebody gives me. Maybe if somebody gives me for free, I can. But is there some economic research, in the sense that it's not just that people are just seeing that it's healthy? I mean, there are apples actually downstairs. You pay $0.9 and for a croissant you pay the same amount. I rarely see people taking an apple.
That's interesting. There is a part of the insights that we found that would answer your question. Okay. So I'm gonna not answer that now.
Okay.
So the timeline and the metrics we used. So what we did is the unhealthy bundle, where you have the pastry item, is the control. The treatment is the healthy bundle, where you add on the healthy snack. And treatment 2 is the choice bundle. So what we did is we kind of use a switchback experiment design here, where we start with control and then we move to treatment 1 and then treatment 2, and then we switch back to control to see if there is any persisting effect of any of these treatments on consumer behavior long term. And the metrics we use to observe are daily sales of healthy and unhealthy snacks and the profit and revenue for the retailer throughout the experiment period. Let me just move this a little. So the preliminary results. So I think this is like a very good way of representing what we observed. So these are the sales of healthy products throughout the experiment. Control 1 is when it was the unhealthy add-on. Treatment 1 is when it is healthy add-on. Treatment 2 is for choice, and control 2 is again when it is unhealthy. And you can see that there's a significant increase in the sales of healthy snacks during treatment 1 and treatment 2. So as long as we are promoting the healthy snack, looks like people are interested in buying it, irrespective of what the kind of promotion is. And similarly, for unhealthy products, during treatment 1, when unhealthy product was not promoted at all, there is a decrease in the number of sales for unhealthy products. So essentially what we're saying is there is a percentage of about 36% of consumers who are saying that I am buying pastry only because it is being promoted. And that's interesting for us as well, because we want to know, like we want to be able to reduce that kind of consumption and not maybe switch them towards eating more healthier food. But what's interesting is when you look at treatment 2, there is a significant increase in healthy snacks, but there is no decrease in unhealthy. Sorry, not able to focus the light. Anyway, so for treatment 2, you see that there is no decrease in unhealthy product consumption, but there is an increase in healthy product consumption. So what's happening there, right? Like, how can that be possible? So what we saw is we looked at the number of coffee bundles that were purchased overall, and we see a steep increase in the number of coffee bundles purchased during treatment 2. So when you're giving the choice to consumers, there are more people who are buying coffee and bundling it overall, right? So that's interesting. That's probably because it's catering to 2 different consumer groups who are interested in both healthy and unhealthy products. So what we did is we ran a regression analysis by controlling for different variables in the store, such as stock out, time fixed effects, and we tried to find what's the treatment effect for each of these different treatments.
So
yes.
Here you don't have like consumer data, I mean the personal.
Unfortunately, no. Quebec has like a very strong privacy laws. We cannot really collect a lot of consumer data. So we have a very generic data where anyone walks into the store, they're just purchasing. So we just have the purchase data.
That's why you have homogeneous.
Yes. We cannot like connect different purchases of the same customer. Yes.
And when there is information, does the price between the pastries and the healthy products were the same?
No, they were not. So the most expensive pastry was about $2.99, and the healthy box was $3.99. Yeah, so there's a $1 difference between them. I understand. Like the next question usually people ask is the amount of discount is cheaper on the healthy item. So there were 2 choices we had when we were designing the experiment. First is either we could maintain the percentage discount to be same for both. Then the add-on bundling cost of $1 would not stay, right? And that kind of measures a different kind of behavioral consumer behavior. We wanted to maintain some sort of consistency in how consumers were perceiving the promotion itself. So when they see it, we didn't want them to deviate from the fact that they're getting the same, they're paying the same amount. So we wanted to study just their choice rather than the choice with respect to the price. But we actually did a follow-up experiment. We tried to do the same discount on both items and studied, and we found the same results. So it was more like it didn't play a major role in how consumers were making their decision. So regression results. For the healthy snacks, for each of the different products, we built 4 different models. Controlling for stockouts, controlling for the time fixed effects. So for healthy snacks, we observed that treatment 1 and treatment 2, there is a significant increase in consumption during consumption of healthy snacks. But during control 2, there is no effect on healthy snack consumption. So what that says is there was no long-term effect when we reverted back to the original promotion of unhealthy bundling. And in unhealthy snacks, we observed that there is a significant decrease during treatment 1. That is when we had no unhealthy snack in the promotion. And during treatment 2 and control 2, there is no significant effect. So we did a series of robustness tests. We know that consumers are different during the weekdays versus weekends, because weekdays we probably have more office going and more student population, but during weekends it's completely different. What we observed is the behavior didn't change, it was consistent. We also did some robustness tests using time fixed effects such as day of the week, week during the experiment, such as week 1 of the treatment versus week 2 versus week 3 of the treatment, if there is any learning or behavioral change. We didn't observe anything. And also we control for stockouts, because definitely when there's a stockout, it influences how you make your purchases, and we controlled for that, and we observed that there was not a significant difference. So what we did after that is we used several other stores in Montreal, which is 88 other stores. And we tried to use them as the control and tried to find what the effect of having run this experiment in the treated store is. What we did for that analysis is we used difference in differences. And again, we actually controlled for stockouts and had store fixed effects, time fixed effects. And we found, we used 2 different control groups for this particular difference in differences. So the first control group is all stores that are geographically closer to the treated store. So there is an experiment store. We used all stores that are in the radius of 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, and 3 kilometers. And we used those as the control stores. So essentially what we're saying is, in that particular radius, the consumer base is similar. So assuming that those stores were not treated, and this is treated, what is the effect of running this experiment on the treated store? And the second control store we used is, we found all the stores in Montreal that have similar coffee purchasing patterns from the consumers. So control 1 is stores based on, the geographical distance. And we found similar results when we did this, where when we had healthy snacks in treatment 1 and 2, there was an increase in purchase of healthy snacks. And during treatment 1, there was a decrease in purchase of unhealthy snacks, and control 2, there was no change again. So no persistent effect. Yes.
So here, you have 3 stores in one kilometer radius of the same company, and you run your treatment in one of the stores, and you want to see whether by giving this by doing this treatment, whether you are getting increased sales.
Yes.
And so here there is no the consumers are buying only from, like, don't you see that after the treatment, some customers can go from one store to another.
So I understand you're talking about interference from other stores in this. How do I say this? So let's say there's a store inside GERAD building. I mean, I don't know this area very clearly, so I'm just gonna say there's a store at the building. And let's say the other store is like 1 kilometer away. The chances of a consumer actually going to both these stores is so low, unless you actually live there and then you're commuting to work here.
Yeah.
Even then, I feel like the fact that we are controlling for the weekend, weekday, all of these different consumers, I don't think the small proportion of people who are encountering both will actually influence the results a lot.
But your like difference in differences relies on this other, like,
yeah, so I have a few other analysis which say that, okay, in case you think that the ID didn't work, then there is another metric we use to, other analysis. So yeah, when we used 1 kilometer radius, there were 3 control stores. So we kind of expanded the radius, and we saw that the results seemed consistent up to like 3 kilometers. For the second control, what we did is similar copy purchasing pattern. So what we did here is we used k-means clustering, and we found all the stores that were clustered together with the treated store. We found 4 such stores. And we used those 4 as the baseline and tried to find what was the effect of treating the store. And we again found similar results where I don't want to keep repeating it, but yeah, it was consistent with the rest of it. And as you asked, so synthetic BID. So this is a methodology that was introduced recently, where if you have, so it combines difference and differences and another methodology called synthetic control, and tries to remove the limitations that these 2 methodologies have, and proposes this. So essentially, difference and differences has another limitation where you have to, another assumption where the store should have a parallel trend assumption. So essentially, before the experiment began, all the sales in these stores should be similar, or they should be parallel to each other. That's a very strong assumption. Though in our case, it was satisfied. We wanted to find another methodology which probably doesn't need that assumption. And similarly with synthetic controls. So in case of synthetic controls, what you're doing is you have a treated store and you have a bunch of other untreated stores, and you're trying to actually create a hypothetical store, which is a convex combination of all the other untreated stores. But the limitation there is the treated store and like the hypothetical store needs to be it'll be in the convex hull of the untreated stores. But usually that doesn't really help us, because if your treated store is outside the convex hull, then you cannot use synthetic control. And in our case, it was outside and we could not use the synthetic control methodology. So essentially, that led us to this new methodology called synthetic BID. And what it does is it combines both of them, and it introduces this 2 different weights. It's a time-dependent and a unit-dependent weight. So synthetic control has unit-dependent weights because it's a convex combination of all the untreated stores. And DID is essentially giving you time-dependent weights. And this is the way we compute the weights for each of the treatments. And if you look at this, this particular part is the same as the DID estimator we used in the previous section. And the new things we are introducing in synthetic BID is these unit weights, which are similar to synthetic control. So all the 88 other stores have weights assigned to them. And this particular time weight balances the time before the experiment and after the experiment. And when we compute that, we So, sorry, let me go back. Yeah. So using this particular methodology, what we're doing is we are computing the treatment weights, beta here. And also that gives us, that shows us that the results are again consistent. Treatment 1 and treatment 2, there is an increase in healthy snack purchases. And treatment 1, there is a decrease in unhealthy. And the benefit of synthetic DID is that it kind of gets rid of all the assumptions that we made with differences or any other methodology that is proposed before. Does that answer your question itself?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out so you still have to find an instrumental variable, right?
In this analysis, that is not needed.
In synthetic DID, you don't need?
You don't need it. Yeah.
Because you don't need that parallel.
You don't need parallel trends, and there is also this fact that there is some sort of independence.
Okay.
Yeah. And finally, profit and revenue analysis. So for retailers, or everything we have spoken till now, it's nice to have, but they prefer to look at profit and revenue to make any definite changes to their policies in the store. What we observed is during treatment 2, there is a significant increase in profit and a significant increase in revenue. So that is good for them. But even otherwise, in treatment 1, where we were just doing the healthy snack promotion, the profit and revenue were almost the same. Like there is no significant drop in profit or revenue. So even if they go for a pure healthy add-on kind of promotion in the store, they're not losing money. Consumers are eating healthier and they're good, right? But if they don't want to do that and they want to actually increase, I mean, obviously, once we show this, they're not going to be like, oh, we're not going to explore this option. So even otherwise, in treatment 2, they're definitely interested in increasing their profit and revenue and give the choice to consumers. And previously, we saw that even when you're giving the choice to consumers are actually eating more healthier than they were when they were not given any promotion on healthy snacks. So that's a good thing. If you want to look at the numbers, then there is a 23.93% increase in profit during treatment 2, and about 28.3% increase in revenue during treatment 2. So those are good numbers. And these numbers are calculated based on the products that are used as a part of this experiment alone, not the overall store. So essentially what we are saying is when you give the choice to consumers, it's a win-win for both retailers and the consumers. So we observed that as a conclusion, yes.
If you look at the difference between the retailers, like if you have the organic market, compared to like the pastry or it's not the same consumers.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So did you look between like the
different types of consumer bases?
Because if you have like the bigger
Got it. No, I think so this experiment is very much limited only to the consumer base which visits convenience stores. We did not look at other bigger retailers, other grocery stores, as only for convenience stores. So. As a conclusion, in this paper, we designed a field experiment to study if there is a way to make consumers eat healthy. And we actually found that using add-on bundling as a mechanism, we can do that. And also we showed that there's no long-term stickiness. As soon as you stop the promotion, consumers revert back to their original consumption behavior. And finally, there is a way to incentivize consumers and also make it profitable for retailers. So it's a win-win situation for both. So this kind of makes this paper a very interesting, interesting insights for retailers and policymakers. Any questions about the paper so far? Okay. So the follow-up experiment. We are actually running a new experiment now to study if there is a difference in discounting versus add-on bundling in case of healthy, unhealthy items. So if consumers are provided a discount on healthy snack versus add-on bundling on a healthy snack, which is more effective? And in the same case, which is more effective in case of an unhealthy item? So what we're doing is we designed 6 different promotions, and we're running these in 7 different stores. The first one is unhealthy add-on bundling, where you buy a coffee, you can add an unhealthy snack for $1.50. You see that we increased the cost by the price by 50 cents, inflation. And then the healthy add-on bundling, when you buy coffee, you can add a healthy snack for $2.50. In this experiment, we're maintaining the discount percentage. It was more a request from the retailer because they didn't want to lose a lot of money. The third promotion is the unhealthy discount, where you don't need to really buy coffee to get a pastry for $1.50. And then you have a healthy discount where, again, you don't need to buy coffee, but you still can get a healthy snack for $2.50. Finally, a choice add-on bundling, where it's similar to the choice bundling we saw in the experiment before. And choice discount is both these products are discounted and consumers can choose what they want. So this experiment is currently running, and we're actually excited to see the results for this. You can read our paper there. Thank you.